Say hello to the newest member of the Billionaire Girls Club, HAILEY Bieber. The 28-year-old supermodel and wife of Justin Bieber just sold her beauty brand Rhode for $1 billion.
Justin Bieber is celebrating his wife HAILEY Bieber's business milestone. Following the news that the 28-year-old officially sold her Rhode skin company to e.l.f. Beauty for $1 billion, Justin takes to social media to support his wife in a subtle way.
It's a giant payday for a brand that she only launched in 2022. She's been the face of the brand since day one.
On Instagram, Justin reposts a photo of HAILEY wearing a white suit, as well as a screenshot of her own caption announcing the news on the social media platform on May 28th. HAILEY writes in her post, "When I launched Rhode in 2022, I always had big dreams for the company."
Hey you guys, it's HAILEY.
Her community, they're aspiring to either look, be, or just essentially embody that it girl cool factor.
HAILEY celebrated her billionaire triumph stepping out in Hollywood, wearing a little black dress.
And the most important thing to me is to keep bringing Rhode to more spaces, places, and faces globally. She continues, "So today I am incredibly excited and proud to announce that we are partnering with e.l.f. Beauty as we step into this next chapter in the world of Rhode."
One of the biggest beauty deals in history just happened. HAILEY Bieber has officially sold her beauty company Rhode for $1 billion just 3 years after launching it. e.l.f. Beauty is the one buying her brand.
I feel invigorated, excited, and more ready than ever to step into an even bigger role as Chief Creative Officer and Head of Innovation of Rhode, as well as Strategic Advisor to e.l.f. Beauty.
HAILEY isn't going anywhere. She will stay as the founder, Chief Creative Officer, and Head of Innovation, overseeing everything from product development to marketing. HAILEY also posted the statement saying, "I found a like-minded disruptor with a vision to be different kind of company that believes in big ideas and innovation in the same way I do."
Per the press release, the acquisition is comprised of $800 million in cash and stock provided to the multiple Rhode owners at the deal's closing, as well as an additional $200 million of potential earnout based on future growth of the brand over a 3-year time frame.
And will help us continue to grow the brand. It's just so wild how all this happened because Rhode launched in June of 2022. It started off with a focus in skincare and expanded into blushes, tinted lip balms, and lip liners. It's just so rare to see a celeb brand move this quick.
A billion-dollar beauty empire, a caption-less congratulation from her husband, and a wave of internet drama that refuses to die down. HAILEY Bieber just had the most chaotic week of her public life. At the center of it all, her skincare brand Rhode, the same line she quietly launched in 2022, which has now officially been scooped up by e.l.f. Beauty for a jaw-dropping deal reportedly worth up to $1 billion. It's the kind of deal that turns influencers into moguls and moguls into household names. For HAILEY, it should have been a career-defining celebration. Instead, it became a spotlight on everything else going wrong. Because while Business Insiders applauded her billion-dollar power play, fans couldn't stop talking about Justin Bieber's reaction, or lack thereof. His quiet repost of her big announcement, with no caption, no emoji,
And be received so well. Personally, I started hearing about Rhode when this case came out and everyone was kind of talking about it, making fun of it, or being like, oh my god, I would actually use this. And for one of the first times, people and press are finally talking about HAILEY without having to mention Justin Bieber.
Not even a proud of you type gesture sparked a flood of speculation. Was he upset? Jealous? Just private? Whatever the case, that silence grew louder with every share and comment. And just when you thought the internet had enough, it got messier. A 7-part viral docuseries started making the rounds, accusing HAILEY of having a long-standing obsession with Selena Gomez. Critics called it creepy, calculated, and career-breaking. Her team allegedly exploring legal options. Her fans fighting back. Meanwhile, fashion blogs are buzzing about her newest collaborations. She's designing jackets for Justin's brand, and she just walked away with one of the biggest beauty deals of the decade. But none of it seems to quiet the noise around her name. So, what's really going on? Is HAILEY Bieber simply winning so big it's making people uncomfortable? Or is the shine of success starting to crack under pressure? Stick around, because what comes next dives deep into the highs, the headlines, and the hush that turned a billion-dollar victory into one of the most complicated PR storms of the year.
She's put so much time, energy, and creativity into this brand, into this project, and it is working out, and I love it. Obviously, Justin Bieber is a huge star, a huge artist, so it must feel good that she is, getting the recognition just on her own.
Let's start with the moment that was supposed to be Hailey Bieber's ultimate mic drop, the deal that crowned her a business heavyweight. On May 28, 2025, beauty giant e.l.f. Cosmetics officially announced it was acquiring Hailey's skincare brand Rhode in a staggering deal worth up to $1 billion. Yes, with a B that includes $600 million in cash, $200 million in stock, and a potential $200 million in bonuses if Rhode continues smashing sales records. For a company that launched barely 3 years ago, that's not just impressive, it's unheard of. And if you're wondering why e.l.f. would shell out that kind of money, here's the short answer. Rhode is hot. The brand did over $200 million in revenue last fiscal year alone, and its hero product, the peptide glazing fluid, became a viral sensation on TikTok, racking up waitlists that stretched for weeks. But it's not just the numbers. Hailey didn't just slap her name on a bottle and hope it sold. She positioned herself as the creative driver of the brand, someone who knew the aesthetic, the audience, and the algorithm. From sleek packaging to Gen Z-friendly campaigns, Rhode became a blueprint for how celebrity beauty brands should be built.
In huge business and social media news, Hailey Bieber just sold her skincare and beauty brand Rhode for $1 billion deal. And it's making tons of headlines right now for a combination of business and celebrity gossip reasons.
And guess what? She's not stepping away. As part of the acquisition, Hailey stays on as Chief Creative Officer, and she's also been named a Strategic Beauty Advisor to e.l.f. That means she'll be leading Rhode's product innovation, marketing, and even helping steer the brand's expansion into Sephora stores later this year. For most people, this would be a moment of pure victory. She's young, wealthy, and just pulled off one of the biggest beauty exits we've seen in years. On paper, it's flawless. But the internet? The internet had questions, because while this was all happening, fans noticed someone missing from the celebration, not in presence, but in energy. And that someone was Justin Bieber. You'd think a billion-dollar milestone would call for some serious celebration, especially from your husband, but when the big news about Rhode's sale broke, Justin Bieber's response wasn't what anyone expected. He reposted Hailey's announcement to his Instagram stories. No caption, no heart emoji, not even a congrats. Just the press art shared without a single word. Now, to most people, that might seem harmless. Maybe he's just private. Maybe he didn't want to steal her spotlight. But this is the internet, and when Justin Bieber posts nothing, fans start reading everything. Within hours, the screenshots were everywhere, and the theories started rolling in fast. Some said he looked checked out. Others claimed he was jealous of Hailey's growing empire. A few even suggested it was intentional, an icy move to signal deeper problems in their marriage. He didn't look proud. One tweet read, he looked distant.
Because specifically, yesterday you had e.l.f. Beauty acquiring Rhode with a deal comprising of $800 million in cash and stock and an additional potential earning of $200 million based on future growth over 3 years.
That single, silent post lit up TikTok, Twitter, and every gossip blog in between. And it didn't help that just days earlier, Hailey had been spotted out and about without her wedding ring, though her team later clarified it was just a styling choice. Still, the moment the internet sensed tension, it ran with it. To be fair, Justin did post a little love later, a carousel of photos showing him and Hailey cuddled up, smiling, even holding hands at a diner. But by that time, the silence had already gone viral, and the damage? It was already done. People began pulling up old interviews, old body language videos, even older comments from fans who felt like Hailey was always more into Justin than he was into her. Whether that's true or not doesn't matter in a news cycle built on speculation. What mattered was this. At the exact moment Hailey reached the top of her career, the internet was busy asking if her marriage was falling apart. And if that wasn't enough pressure, things were about to get a lot more intense. Because the very next headline, it wasn't about beauty or billion-dollar deals. It was about a TikTok docuseries that accused Hailey of something way more personal. Just when the Rhode celebration should have been hitting its peak, the internet flipped the script. A 7-part TikTok docuseries titled Hailey Bieber's Dangerous Obsession started gaining massive traction. And it wasn't your typical drama dump.
For e.l.f, it's known for being a very budget-friendly brand with dupes of high-end products, and it's sold at major retailers like CVS, Target, Walmart, and more. And then Rhode, it was founded by Hailey just a few years ago in 2022 with a focus on intentional skincare and beauty.
This series painted a deeply uncomfortable picture, accusing Hailey of spending years allegedly copying Selena Gomez in everything from outfits to interviews and even friendships. Clips were laid out like a detective case. Hailey wearing nearly identical outfits days after Selena, repeating key phrases Selena had said in old interviews, even attending the same events where Justin and Selena had once gone together. Some fans online called it eerie, others straight up unhinged. The series gained millions of views within days and sparked hashtags like #HaileyExposed and #stalker allegations. Of course, nothing in the series was confirmed. There's no proof that Hailey ever intentionally mimicked Selena. But in today's internet court, optics often matter more than facts. And once that narrative started spreading, it spiraled fast. Hailey's team reportedly began exploring legal action behind the scenes, trying to get some of the content flagged or removed. But at that point, the damage had been done. The comments were flooded with people demanding she leave Selena alone, accusing her of manipulation, and worse. To her credit, Hailey didn't stay completely silent. In a Vogue What's in My Bag segment, she subtly clapped back, joking that she kept a burner phone in case she ever needed to stalk anyone. The line was sarcastic, clearly a jab at the docuseries, but reactions were split. Some saw it as clever, others said it just made things worse. And behind all of it was the question nobody could fully answer. Was this all a cruel internet reach, or had the public finally turned on Hailey for good?
And its products, they're only available online, though. In another major recent deal, Sephora announced that the brand would be coming to its stores later this year. And this business deal, it stands to be huge for both parties.
Either way, the timing couldn't have been worse. She was still riding the wave of Rhode's billion-dollar success, but now that wave was being swallowed by gossip. And then came another blow, quieter, but just as damning. Because fans noticed something strange about Hailey's latest speech, and they swore they'd heard it before. As the internet buzzed with the viral obsession narrative, Hailey faced another accusation, this time for allegedly copying Selena Gomez's words. And for fans still riding the waves of drama from the docuseries, this felt like fuel on an already roaring fire. At the Daily Front Row Fashion Awards, Hailey gave an emotional acceptance speech. She spoke about staying true to herself, being kind to others, and not letting negativity define her. Nothing unusual on the surface, until a fan edit dropped that compared her remarks side by side with a 2021 speech Selena had given at the same event. Line for line, the language was eerily similar. Selena had said, "Just be yourself. That's all you've got. You don't need to be anyone else." Hailey's version, "I've learned the most powerful thing is to just be yourself, fully. Nothing else matters." Now, in the world of celebrity speeches, repetition isn't exactly rare. Motivational lines get recycled, publicists prep similar themes. But in the middle of a media storm where Hailey was already being accused of mimicking Selena, it felt too on the nose for a lot of viewers. The copycat label started trending again. TikTok was flooded with reaction videos breaking down the comparison, and hashtags like "Inchom Hailey copies Selena" popped back up. Critics began resurfacing older examples, claiming this wasn't a one-time slip, but a pattern. To be fair, Hailey hasn't addressed the speech drama directly. No clarifications, no denials, but many fans argue that her silence isn't helping, and her haters are treating that silence as validation. The question becomes, when does coincidence start looking like intent?
With, for example, the Wall Street Journal noting that for e.l.f, it'll help diversify its supply chain because currently most of its products are made in China and subject to major tariffs, and Rhode suppliers are based in Europe, the US, and other parts of Asia.
And while some diehard supporters defended her, saying the whole thing was overblown and taken out of context, the damage was already in motion. Because by now, every word Hailey said was being measured, clipped, and compared. And what made it sting even more? It was happening at a time when her brand was bigger than ever, and critics weren't just picking apart her words. They were coming for her business, too. Because next came a very public critique of Rhode itself. And it wasn't about marketing. It was about inclusion. Just as the personal attacks were peaking, a different kind of criticism hit Hailey, one that targeted not her image, but her brand's values. A resurfaced TikTok video by beauty creator Gloria George reignited the conversation around Rhode's lack of inclusivity, particularly when it came to deeper skin tones. In the clip, Gloria tested Rhode's blush range on her complexion and made it painfully clear there wasn't a single shade that worked for her. The clip went viral. Again. Though it had originally made waves in 2024, this time it came back with sharper impact. Why? Because it collided directly with the billion-dollar acquisition. People weren't just questioning Hailey's product decisions, they were questioning whether her success had left entire communities behind. And it wasn't just Gloria. The comment sections filled with users sharing similar experiences. Pretty packaging, but not for me. Feels like I'm invisible in her lineup. For a brand that markets itself as inclusive, minimal, and skin-forward, the backlash cut deep. To her credit, Hailey didn't ignore it. In fact, she reached out to Gloria directly. Not only did she apologize, she invited her to consult on Rhode's upcoming reformulation project. Gloria even confirmed the collaboration in a follow-up post, calling it a step in the right direction. Still, the damage control move couldn't fully erase the sentiment. Some critics saw it as performative, a PR patch made only after going viral for the wrong reasons. Others pointed out that true inclusivity needs to be baked in from the start, not added once the backlash begins. And it left Hailey's brand walking a fine line, celebrated for financial growth, but challenged on social awareness. In an era where consumers demand more than just good formulas and sleek design, Rhode's billion-dollar success didn't shield it from accountability. But while the brand was taking heat, Hailey wasn't slowing down.
And then for Rhode, this really cements Hailey Bieber's status as a beauty mogul, following the likes of Rihanna, Kylie Jenner, Selena Gomez, and more. But then the snooze has also popped up as there have been a number of headlines suggesting that there are issues with her relationship with Justin Bieber.
Because behind the scenes, she was doubling down on another piece of her empire: fashion. From designing jackets to launching new collabs, Hailey was ready to remind everyone that Rhode wasn't her only move. While the internet dissected her marriage and her skincare line, Hailey Bieber was busy leveling up on another front: fashion. And not just as a model or brand ambassador, but as a creative force in her own right. Let's start with her latest win, Fila SES25. This isn't her first collab with the sportswear giant, but it's definitely her most personal. The new capsule collection features 13 pieces designed with Hailey's signature off-duty prep vibe. Think oversized pullovers, pleated skirts, and chunky sneakers that scream influencer meets country club. The response? Quietly strong. The teasers gained traction fast, and fashion insiders noted how Hailey's aesthetic helped revive Fila's Gen Z relevance without relying on loud branding. But Fila was just the warm-up. Behind the scenes, Hailey was working on something even more intimate: Skylark, Justin Bieber's newly launched streetwear label. While most people assumed Justin would be the face of the line, it was Hailey who stole attention when she previewed a leather bomber jacket she helped design. She even called it her favorite piece ever during a Coachella backstage moment. That simple reveal blew up across Instagram. Fashion bloggers praised the cut, the texture, and most importantly, the surprise factor. For someone who's been typecast as just the wife, stepping into the designer's spotlight flipped the script. Suddenly, Hailey wasn't just collaborating, she was curating. And the timing couldn't have been better. As critics were trying to define her with old narratives, copycat, clout chaser, industry plant, Hailey was rewriting her own story through her style. These fashion ventures weren't just side gigs, they were branding moves, visual proof that she's building something beyond skincare, beyond headlines, and yes, even beyond Bieber. But while the runways were lighting up, the rumor mill wasn't slowing down. Even her Vogue feature, meant to be a feel-good, fashion-forward profile, wasn't safe from internet dissection. Because in true 2025 fashion, even a harmless "what's in my bag" segment turned into the next big flashpoint. By now, you'd think Hailey Bieber would be ducking the spotlight. But instead of retreating, she pulled off something unexpected. She leaned in. Enter her Vogue Summer 2025 feature. Styled in soft pastels with clean glam makeup and a casual cool vibe, Hailey took viewers inside her purse for one of those classic "what's in my bag" segments.
There's then also, separate but connected to that, been a number of reports suggesting he's in some financial trouble and had to sell off his music catalog because he had gone broke. With, for example, the Hollywood Reporter recently saying he lost millions from canceling a tour and still owes his former manager, Scooter Braun, money.
On the surface, it was standard influencer content: lip balm, fragrance, snacks. But one item turned heads: a burner phone. And not just because it was there, but because of how she talked about it. With a smirk, Hailey held it up and said, "This one's for stalking people." Obviously. The tone? Dry, The delivery, perfectly deadpan. And the message, loud and clear. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a direct clapback to the viral TikTok stalker docuseries. Without ever saying the word Selena or addressing the accusations outright, Hailey took back the narrative on her own terms, in her own voice. The internet, of course, split right down the middle. Some praised her for having a sense of humor, calling it iconic energy and peak unbothered. Others weren't having it, saying it felt dismissive and arrogant, especially with the surrounding drama still so fresh. But whether you saw it as shade or strategy, one thing was clear: Hailey had learned how to play the PR game. Throughout her Vogue feature, she subtly dismantled the divorce rumors, calling the headlines wildly made up and praising Justin as her anchor. She didn't over-explain. She didn't cry for sympathy. She simply inserted herself back into the conversation, not as a victim, not as a villain, but as a woman in control of her own story. And that shift, that calculated calm, it didn't erase the controversies, but it did something else. It reframed them. Because when your name is being dragged across every timeline, sometimes the smartest move isn't to fight. It's to smile, drop a joke, and keep building. But the question still remains: can Hailey maintain this balancing act of massive wins and nonstop backlash? Let's wrap it all up. So here we are. On one hand, Hailey Bieber just pulled off a once-in-a-lifetime business move. She took Rhode from a passion project to a billion-dollar empire in just 3 years. She stayed at the top of her game in fashion, partnered with global brands, and redefined her public image as more than just someone's wife. But on the other hand, every single win has come with a shadow. Justin's silent reaction wasn't just about a missing caption. It triggered deeper fears about their relationship. The viral docuseries didn't just revive old fan wars, it questioned the very authenticity of her public identity. The copycat accusations, the inclusivity critiques, the sarcastic Vogue segment. It's all added up to one truth. Hailey isn't just building an empire, she's battling a narrative. And the bigger her name gets, the louder that battle becomes. What makes her story fascinating isn't just the drama, it's the duality. She's becoming a modern mogul while being picked apart like a tabloid character. She's leveling up while constantly being asked to defend her every move. And that tension, it's what keeps everyone watching. So, what comes next? Will Hailey silence the noise by outworking it? Or will the internet keep twisting every moment into a new headline? Either way, one thing's for sure, this billion-dollar deal might be the start of a new chapter. But the spotlight on her, it's only getting brighter.